Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Today we shall be going ahead with the example lecture of climate in India plus climate change. So we covered these two topics together, a rather extensive chapter that I'd say. But it was also informative. I really enjoyed learning while I was preparing for this. It was beautiful actually to see like the southwest monsoon. I mean, it is something that I'd studied in the past when I was your age, but since then I'd lost touch with it, and it's a pretty interesting thing how things come into view. And with climate change, it's like a topic that is discussed almost every other day. But to have to give it to other people and like to address this issue with people, with young people your age, it's very necessary, and it feels really profitable to an extent. It feels really beneficial because you will understand what is at stake here, what we need to do. As we're all stakeholders in this world, are we not? What is a stakeholder? Stakeholder is basically of us. Let's say there's a community. So no, sorry. Let's say there's a company. Company has shares. There are shareholders who hold parts of companies. Just like that, there are stakeholders of this world. So if the company goes down, the shareholders lose things. If the world goes down, the stakeholders lose things. So it's necessary that you pay attention, and everything that you study has a reason. You're just not studying it just like that. It's very necessary for you to understand that what you study has applications. Not right now, it might seem that okay, this is like not the most fun thing ever, but at some point of time the other you realize that it's an important part of life, and it's very integral that you understand what you're studying and how it's going to be helpful to you, and how it's going to be helpful as a result to the people out there. Because one of you, some of you, maybe all of you will be people who shall be speak for other people, who shall be standing up for other people, who shall be spokesperson for someone's benefit. So you need to know what is going on in the world. You need to know what is going right, what is going wrong, and in turn take actions for or against it. Yeah. So Gyan done. Let's go ahead with example lecture of climate in India plus climate change. Lo and behold, we have climatic regions in India. This is like something that's, to be very honest, even I don't enjoy it. but it's very necessary to understand the way that weather patterns and climatic patterns follow. So we shall be doing these questions. You shall be getting more of these questions in the assignments as well, because it's a tricky thing to memorize. So what we shall instead do is that if we do more questions on this ourselves, we understand it better. So I've put lesser questions at this section over here, so that later in the assignments you have more questions and you can actually read and study and go to the same topic again and again and again and understand the characteristics of that particular climatic region. Okay, which climatic region in India is characterized by heavy and continuous rainfall throughout the year? Let us go back to where we read this so that we can, what can we do? We can reinforce the information, as I always say. Characterized by heavy and continuous rainfall throughout the year, which is it? It is tropical rainforests. Students, it is tropical rainforests. So the right answer is B. Tropical rainforests are characterized by heavy and continuous rainfall throughout the year. It can also go to around 2000 millimeter. Which climatic region experiences distinct wet and dry seasons with dry winters and wet summers? Which climatic region experiences distinct wet and dry seasons? Let's see which it is. We found it right here. We didn't have to read through. Distinct wet and dry seasons, tropical savanna climate. What other characteristics does tropical savanna climate show? Dry winters with cooler temperatures and little to no rainfall. Wet summers with high temperatures and heavy rainfall. Examples: parts of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. Vegetation in this region consists of grasslands with scattered trees. All right, so we have it here. Which climatic region experiences distinct wet and dry seasons? It is tropical savanna climate. Which climatic region in India is characterized by low rainfall throughout the year and hot summers? Tropical and subtropical steppes? No. We can actually see it's is it tropical and subtropical steppes? Let's see. Let's go back and read this again. Low rainfall throughout the year usually. Tropical and subtropical steppes is here. Tropical and subtropical steppes, moderate rainfall with distinct wet and dry seasons. Semi-arid climate and rainfall ranging between 500 to 1000 millimeters. So, no rainfall throughout the years and hot summers. What does humid subtropical climate with dry winters say to us? Let's see. Hot and humid summers with temperatures often exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, mild winters, abundant rainfall in humid subtropical climate with dry winters as well. And in tropical and subtropical steppes also there's moderate rainfall. So neither of these options actually. So what shall be the answer for this one? Tropical rainforests have abundant rainfall, and mountain climate. Mountain climate actually does have rainfall. It's relatively low, but it does experience heavy rainfall as well. So neither of these options in turn. So, but the right answer over here is, it is desert. It is tropical semi-arid steppe climate, or it's tropical desert. So it's either of these answers which should be the right one. Let us consider here. It's tropical desert. It's easier to write, so let's just write this down here, and the other one as well. Okay, question number 4. The Montreal Protocol was signed in which year? Which year did the Montreal Protocol get signed in? Let's go back. The Montreal Protocol talked about saving the ozone layer, right? Let's read it. The Montreal Protocol is an international environmental agreement aimed at protecting the ozone layer. It was signed in 1987 in Montreal, Canada, as a response to the growing concern over ozone depletion. Okay, let's not read the entire thing because then it will become another theory lecture. Okay, the Montreal Protocol was signed in 1987 and it talked about ozone depletion. It talked about restricting usage of CFC products. The Montreal Protocol primarily addresses the issue of A, climatic change, B, ozone depletion. We just did that. The answer is B, ozone depletion. The Earth Summit took place in which city? Earth Summit, it is known by another name. Let's see. Earth Summit, officially known as UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, took place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. So when did this take place? 1992. It also led to the adoption of Agenda 21, which was a comprehensive plan of action for sustainable development. So the Earth Summit took place in Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro, sorry. In which year was Stockholm Conference held? What was the Stockholm? Well, we know that Stockholm Conference was one of its kind conference that took place for the first time, also known as United Nations Conference on Human Environment. So it was held in 1972 and it witnessed 133 countries, 13 countries as participants. It took place in 1972. The Stockholm Conference focused on sustainable development and environmental protection, human rights, economic growth, or D, none of the above. The right answer is A, sustainable development and environmental protection. Which international environmental agreement aimed at protecting the ozone layer? Stockholm Convention, Montreal Protocol, Earth Summit Agreement, or Kyoto Protocol. So the right answer is B, Montreal Protocol. We did this multiple times. Question number, so this is like when the same question follows or answer follows. It basically tells you that This is another way that this question could be asked. This is another way that the question should be framed. This is another way of looking at this same statement and getting a different answer. So these are opportunities for you to learn actually, and to understand what ways have been devised or ways have been used to address the fact that this is, the way the answer should look. This is the way that the question will look, and in turn the answer will we get the answer. Okay, so what is the duration of monsoon season in India? So monsoon season in India, is it from December to February, March to May, June to September? So first of all, what will we consider the monsoon in India? Will it be, we consider south west monsoon, that is let's, or will we consider northeast monsoon as monsoon in India? So since majority of the country faces monsoon when it is the southwest monsoon that follows, we shall be considering that as the monsoon season. So it will be C, June to September. Which monsoon brings the majority of rainfall to India? As discussed, the southwest monsoon brings majority of rainfall to India, to the Western Ghats, to this area, the entire area. Okay, and to here the northeastern area. So this is the area where majority of the rainfall falls, but after like raining here in this region, the winds go northward and they bring rain here and there as well. So this is one. I mean, in the monsoon season, you must observe. So you see, how do you learn these things? What do you do? So one day just sit with your mother or with your father or with your siblings, whoever, if they're older than you or younger than you. Older than you, even if they're older than you, it's very unlikely that they might know about this. Not very unlikely, but still, there's chances that they must not know about this. So you can just sit down and you'll be like, do you know which how the rains are, like, how India experiences monsoon? So in that way, you are actually understand yourself, you make another person understand. Or if you are like two people who are preparing for the same thing, or two students who are studying for a particular subject, you have an exam coming the next day. So what you do is that you sit down with one of your friends and you are like, okay, I know this topic, you know this topic, let's sit down, I shall tell you this information and you shall tell me this information, and hence we will be able to understand what we did not know as well, and we will also be able to understand what we knew better. So this is another way, like if something feels very difficult to be understood, try teaching it. It becomes easier. Because you have to understand it first to teach the other person, right? So you over here, there's like kind of, you could say, a pressure that lies on you, that you need to do well for the other person to understand it, and you understand it well in the same time as well. Okay, so when does the southwest monsoon typically start in India? Southwest monsoon, when does it typically start? So in amongst the options given, it's December, March, June or September. So it's June, but what if it happens that they mention May and here they mention, let's say, October? So what will be the right answer? The right answer will be May. So the thing is, its probable date is somewhere around late May, but it pushes itself to June. But if it's in case like options like this are asked, so you can use a little amount of your brain and take the right decision to correct the right answer. Question 13. Which state in India is usually the first to receive the southwest monsoon? Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra. So even though Maharashtra falls in the Western Ghats wala area and receives like abundant rainfall, because you must have seen that there are reports observed, there are reports that come in, and they say that there are reports that come in and they say that Mumbai is flooded again, or there are floods in Kerala as well. So why is this? This is because of the southwest monsoon and the other disturbances. So the right answer for this one is actually C, Kerala. What percentage of India's annual rainfall is attributed to the southwest monsoon? 10 to 20%, 30 to 40%, 50 to 60%, 70 to 80%. So we have been talking this for so long. The answer is D, 70 to 80%. What causes the formation of rain clouds during southwest monsoon? So, what happens? How are rain clouds formed during the southwest monsoon? Collision of moist winds from Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal with dry, warm winds. Yes, this is the right answer. It happens so that, you see, moist winds come from Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. So, moist winds come here, but the whole landmass is very dry. Okay, so now these moist winds meet this hot, dry air. So, what happens? Condensation takes place, because of which rain clouds are formed, and hence these rain clouds bring the rain over that area. Which sector in India heavily relies on southwest monsoon for water supply? Manufacturing, tourism, agriculture, IT services. Which of these sectors requires water supply extensively? Is it manufacturing? Probably it depends on the kind of manufacturing, but does all kind of manufacturing require water? No. Tourism? No. Tourism, like, it could be a problem for the tourists, or it could be a good thing for the tourists as well, accordingly, like as per the preference. But does the sector rely heavily on southwest monsoon for water supply? No, they couldn't care less, to be very honest. So the right answer is C, agriculture, because water is very important for agriculture. Which region in India receives the highest amount of rainfall during monsoon season? A, western coast, B, northern plains, C, eastern Himalayas, or D, Thar desert. So the right answer is western coast. Could be eastern Himalayas, but it's usually, if it was mentioned northeastern, then it would have been easier. But because the thing is that again, Bay of Bengal winds first go to northeast region and then they move on to eastern regions. Similarly, how Arabian Sea goes to the western coast, Arabian Sea winds go to the western coast and then after some time move northward. Okay, what is the role of monsoon in agriculture? It promotes crop failure, it helps maintain soil moisture, nourish crops. So the right answer is actually B. But in the same breath, I'm so sorry. But in the same breath, what happens is that it could probably promote crop failure, because if there's excessive rainfall that is observed, it could lead to crop failure. But that's like not the role of monsoon in agriculture. When we say role of monsoon, it means the important part, what's significant, what makes it significant for in agriculture. Okay. Question 19. When does the northeast monsoon occur in India? When does northeast monsoon occur in India? June to September, October to December, January to March. So the right answer is B, October to December. Which regions of India are primarily affected by the northeast monsoon? Okay. Northern states, B, central states, C, southern and eastern coastal regions, or D, western states. So the right answer is C, southern and eastern coastal regions. So we studied that Tamil Nadu gets a lot of rainfall because of northeast monsoon, right? Let's just go back and read what it said on the northeast monsoon. So the northeast monsoon, also known as retreating monsoon or the post-monsoon season, occurs from October to December in India. Unlike the southwest monsoon, which brings rainfall to most of India, the northeast monsoon primarily affects the southern and eastern coastal regions, including Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and parts of Karnataka. During this season, the northeast trade winds, and hence the name northeast monsoon, blow over the Bay of Bengal and bring moisture to the coastal areas. The northeast monsoon contributes a significant portion of the annual rainfall for these regions and plays a crucial role in their agriculture and water resources. Tamil Nadu in particular receives substantial rainfall during the northeast monsoon, which helps recharge groundwater and reservoirs for irrigation purposes. The rainfall during this period is important for crops like rice, millets and pulses in the coastal areas. So the right answer, as we have seen, is southern and eastern coastal regions. I read that out again so that the next questions that follow will be answered by you guys before they are answered by me. Okay, which state in India receives significant rainfall during northeast monsoon? We just read this. Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, or Gujarat? So the right answer is, I hope you have corrected it. The right answer is C, Tamil Nadu. What is the impact of northeast monsoon on water resources in coastal areas? So, what impact does northeast monsoon have on water resources in coastal areas? It causes water scarcity. बारिश से कभी water scarcity नहीं होती. It leads to excessive waterlogging. No, no. Because it's not like that heavy to actually cause logging. It might in certain areas where it rains a lot, but not really. It helps recharge groundwater and reservoirs. Yes, that is the right answer. It on water resources, this is the impact that it has. What crops benefit from rainfall during northeast monsoon? Wheat and barley, rice and millets, sugarcane and cotton, or tea and coffee. The right answer is B, rice and millets. Which meteorological agency monitors the progress of the monsoon in India? Okay, this is the right answer. Is it NASA? NASA is not Indian. NOAA. ESA, no. IMD is. Indian Meteorological Department. Hence, this is the agency which monitors the progress of monsoon in India. This is the agency which also comes out with stuff like this. With this, you know, telling you about the various winds and where will they blow and all of that. Okay, and how at what time they will reach this area, what time they will rain, it will go, and all of this. What percentage of India's annual rainfall does the northeast monsoon account for? 10 to 15%, 40 to 50%, 60 to 70%, 80 to 90%. The right answer is A, 10 to 15%. It's more easier, it's 11%, but that is what's falling under that particular radar. What can excessive monsoon rainfall lead to? What can excessive monsoon rainfall lead to? Droughts, water scarcity, forest fires, or floods? The right answer is D, floods. So, certain areas which have suffered from floods lately are Kerala, Bihar, floods were also there. So, it's like the monsoon which brings in the floods. How do meteorological agencies forecast the progress of the monsoon? Using satellite imagery? Yes. Analyzing historical data? Yes. Monitoring weather patterns? Yes. So, the right answer is D. Keeping in mind all these things, the meteorological agencies forecast the progress of the monsoon. Question 28. Which monsoon season is also known as post-monsoon season? Southwest monsoon, northeast monsoon, northwest monsoon, or southeast monsoon? The right answer is B, northeast monsoon. It's known as post-monsoon. It's also known as retreating monsoon. Which trade winds bring moisture during northeast monsoon? They are named after northeast monsoon for a reason. It is named northeast monsoon for a reason, and the reason is that northeast trade winds bring moisture during the northeast monsoon. Global warming can lead to what? Can global warming lead to? Rising sea levels, increased biodiversity, decreased greenhouse gas concentration, or cooling of the Earth's atmosphere? No, neither. The answer is A, rising sea levels. And how does that happen? Okay, so let's see. Global temperature rises. It's rising. It's rising. It's rising. It's like, fire. It's fire. It's rising. Because of this, what happens? Glaciers melt. They melt. They go back. Glaciers, when they melt, they go back. The water goes back into sea, ocean, whatever it is flowing on. And because of this, there is a rise in sea levels, and hence, and then further, sea level rise can cause displacement, floods, amongst other things. Okay. Question number 31. The Paris Agreement aims to. So, where did we read about the Paris Agreement? We read about the Montreal Protocol, right? We said that it is working towards the ozone depletion, like working towards curbing ozone depletion, and then it was superseded by Paris Agreement. So, what will the Paris Agreement aim to? It will aim to promote ozone depletion? No, it will aim to actually curb ozone depletion, but that is not an option, so it is not the right answer. The right answer is A, reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gases trap heat in the atmosphere by A, reflecting sunlight back into space. They trap the heat, okay. Absorbing and re-emitting thermal radiation, increasing the ozone layer's thickness or accelerating ocean currents. So the right answer is actually B, absorbing and re-emitting thermal radiation. But we should actually go back and you know, read what greenhouse effect is, so we have a better understanding. The sun radiates energy in the form of sunlight which reaches the Earth's atmosphere. A portion of the sunlight is reflected back into space by clouds or aerosols and the Earth's surface. The remaining sunlight passes through the atmosphere and reaches the Earth's surface when it is absorbed and re-radiated as heat. The Earth's atmosphere contains certain gases called greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and water vapor. These gases have the property of being able to absorb and emit thermal infrared radiation. So, what it is? Yes. The greenhouse gas in the atmosphere absorbs some of this outgoing radiation, trapping the heat energy and preventing it from escaping directly into space. Yes. So, so they absorb and re-emit thermal radiation. Ozone depletion primarily affects, okay, so where does the ozone layer lie? It primarily affects the ozone layer. And ozone layer, if you lies in the, does it lie in the troposphere? No, troposphere is the first layer. It does not lie in the first layer, it lies in the second layer, which is the stratosphere. Second layer. So it primarily affects the stratosphere, sorry. Question number 34. The Montreal Protocol aimed to what? Now that since it has been called off, what did it, since it has been superseded, actually not called off, let's not use that word. The Montreal Protocol aimed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, address climate change, protect the ozone layer, or prevent acid rain. It protect the ozone layer. Which flexible mechanisms were introduced by the Kyoto Protocol? Emissions trading, clean developmental mechanism, joint implementation, or all of the above? Let's go back and read Kyoto Protocol once. Yes. Kyoto Protocol is an international treaty linked to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It was adopted in 1987 in Kyoto, Japan, and aimed to address global warming by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The protocol established binding emission reduction targets for developed countries known as Annex 1 countries for the period this. So, binding emission reduction targets, this was one thing that's there. It also introduced flexible mechanisms such as emissions trading and clean developmental mechanism. So, wait, let's see what the options are. Oh, so which flexible mechanisms were introduced by Kyoto Protocol? It talked about emissions trading, it talks about CDM also, it talks about joint implementation as well. And these are the mechanisms that were introduced by Kyoto Protocol, hence the right answer is all of the above. Question number 36. Climate is best described as, what do you call climate? The weather on a specific day? No. The average weather conditions over a long period of time? Yes. So the right answer is B, and hence with this we come to an end of this unit, topic, chapter, whatever you call it. And yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this chapter actually, because this is like practical knowledge that you must have, that one must have to have any kind of conversation in public. I mean, you are kids right now, but as you grow up, or even right now, if you share good company, these are things you can actually talk about. I don't know if you've heard of the name Greta Thunberg, but she is someone like, I think she's aged 2021 or something around that, and she's a environmental activist, and she has been, I mean, she has faced a lot of backlash, but she is someone who's actually been advocating for climate right, for climate change, for like taking steps to prevent climate change for a long amount of time. And that's such a big decision to take at such an age, and to actually be able to execute on itself, it's a big deal in itself. So people, I think she was like barely 15 or 16 when she actually started talking about this, so that's like a big thing as well. So it's like the awareness that you come with education is very necessary, because it takes you where you will be someday. and that is how is that going to come in? When you read, when you study, when you consume the right amount of things. Okay, so with this I take your leave, and we shall meet soon again with another lecture. So with that, goodbye. Thank you so much for watching.